For the video editing Beast PC number 3 that I'm building, I'll be installing an Intel i9-14900K CPU. The CPU can get very hot, and so I will also be installing this Thermaltake Tough Liquid 360 ARGB Sync Radiator Cooler. Join me in this video as I unbox this product, show how I install it to motherboard and computer case. Let's unbox this Thermaltake Tough Liquid 360 ARGB Sync all-in-one liquid cooler. Open at the end of the box. It is sealed with the tape. I've cut the tape. And the lid opens. Packing foam. There's a SATA power cable. This is the radiator, and this is the water pump. These are the various mounting brackets and screws. There are 3 identical 120mm fans. The model is TT1225. There's one sheet of 2-page installation guide. The guide covers installation for a Intel CPU and also an AMD CPU. There is a warranty policy document. Print is so small, I think only 10-year-old kids can read it. So we have the radiator and the water pump, the 3 fans. There are 2 cables. One is a SATA power cable and the other one is a 3-pin cable. And here is the packet of mounting frames, screws, and also CPU thermal paste. A close-up view of the radiator. There are 2 sockets. I believe this socket on the right hand side is for a cable to synchronize to the motherboard ARGB controller, and I believe this socket on the left hand side when using the ARGB controller on the water pump. On the water pump there are 3 switches. It's click to activate, 1 switch for mode, 1 switch for color, 1 switch for speed. There are 7 LED modes to switch from. There's rainbow, full light, RGB spectrum, off, flow, radar, pulse, and blink. For color mode, when the light mode is in full lighted, pulse, or blink, it is possible to switch over 8 LED colors: red, yellow, green, teal, blue, white, purple, and rainbow. When the light is in ripple mode, it's possible to switch over the 7 colors: red, yellow, green, teal, blue, white, and purple. When the light mode is in RGB spectrum, click to memorize and lock the color you want. Click again to unlock the 256 colors auto rotation. When the light mode is in wave and flow, LED color cannot be adjusted. The light speed switch enables switching over between 4 light modes: slow, normal, fast, and extreme. This is the heatsink cold plate, and there's a protective film that must be removed before installing this cold plate to the CPU. The hoses look fairly robust. This cable connected to the water pump is a 3-pin plug for power to connect to the motherboard. The 2 cables in this packet, one cable is a SATA power cable and the other cable is a 3-pin cable. If I want to use the ARGB control buttons built into the water pump body, then I would use this SATA cable and plug this white plug end into the white socket. But because I will be controlling the ARGB lights from the motherboard, so instead I will use this second cable, and this is a 4-pin plug that will fit into this 4-pin socket. In preparation to install the Thermaltake Tough Liquid 360 radiator fans to my computer case and also the water pump to the top of the CPU, I've set up all the components that are supplied with that radiator fan product. I label all the screws like this because the plastic packs that the screws came in had no labels to say whether they were G screws, H screws, K, J, I, or F. So I did this to make it clearer for myself. I also labeled the back plates and the front plates. The back plates are used for the Intel sockets. This one is for the Intel LGA 1700 socket. You might be able to see that there's a little engraving that says LGA 1700. So the way I'm holding it is the way it needs to mount to the underside of the motherboard directly below the CPU socket. These are adhesive tapes that need to be uncovered before installation to the bottom of the CPU socket. This is the D-back plate for use with the Intel LGA 1200/115X socket set. This is the E front plate for AMD install, and for this front plate there is no label in the user manual. This is the thermal paste, and this is a 3-in-1 power cable for the radiator fans. I have here a bottle of isopropyl alcohol and some cotton wool. I'll spray some alcohol to the cotton wool. Gently wipe the metal surface to remove dirt and oil film. Let it dry for a while. Remove the protective film from the adhesive strips. Now I orientate these two strips parallel to the long side of the rectangle. Turn the adhesive towards the metal and align the 4 screw holes to the 4 holes on the motherboard. Gently press the 2 adhesive tapes onto the metal frame. Turn the motherboard over back to the top facing. Get one of the 4 H screws with the shorter screw thread facing downwards into the motherboard. Screw it into one of the 4 screw holes. Get the second H screw with the short end again pointing downwards into the motherboard. Screw it diagonally into the second screw hole and hand tighten. It may be a bit difficult because there's not enough area to turn the knurled surface. The third H screw into the third hole and the 4th H screw into the 4th and last hole. Make sure not to over tighten, and that is good. Turn over, check, and that feels secure. That is good so far. Now to install the motherboard into the case. There are 9 screw holes, 1, 2, 3 on the right, 1, 2, 3 in the middle, and 1, 2, 3 on the left. These are the screws I will need to fix the motherboard to the case. Put the screw in the top right corner, second screw in the bottom left corner, third screw in the bottom right corner, 4th screw in the top left corner, 5th screw in the middle center, 6th screw in the middle right, 7th screw in the middle left, 8th screw in the center top, 9th screw in the center bottom. All 9 screws are now fixed, so that's good. I will need to slide this front plate into the slot around the base of this water pump, and the 3 switches in this facing. The opening needs to go in here. Push all the way in until it clicks. So this is what it looks like when the front plate is installed to the base of the water pump. Next I'll install the 3 fans to the radiator. This face is facing into the case. When I mount the fans in this direction, it will be sucking air from inside the case out through the radiator to the external environment. How do I know which side of the fan is intake and which side is exhaust? The key is that on the side of the fan, there is a symbol. In this case, there is an arrow pointing that direction. That means air is sucked in through here, this side, and exhaust through that side. And it also shows an arrow to show the direction of spin of the fan. So I know this is intake, that is exhaust. I will be mounting the fan this way. But before I install the fan, I want to remove the thin protective plastic film. There's a film on both sides, so I must make sure I remove it, otherwise this will overheat and become a fire hazard. To fix the fans to the radiators, I will need this J screws and a Phillips head number 2 screwdriver. With all the 3 fans in place, I can now tighten the screws. All 3 fans are securely installed, so before I install the water pump to the CPU, I prefer to install the radiator to the top of the case first. I'll be installing the radiator by fixing the screws into these slots. For this, I'll be using the K screws. First screw in here. I'm setting the radiator further back so that there's space for the water hoses in front. That's good, all 12 screws are secured. So the radiator with the fans is installed to the top case now, and the intake and outflow hoses are on the side. They're not touching the front casing fans, so that's good. So what will happen is I'll likely be fixing the water pump in this orientation. I may also consider installing the water pump in this orientation to the side. I'll have a think about it. Power for the water pump will be supplied through this 3-pin plug. I'll connect the power cable to this System Fan 6-pump header on the motherboard. It has 4 pins, but if you look at the underside of the plug, there are 2 ridges, and these ridges slide into this tongue when only 3 of the 4 pins are used. To control the ARGB, there are 2 ways to do this. The first way is to use the onboard switch controllers on the water pump itself, and to do that I'll have to use this cable with the SATA plug that will connect to a SATA power supply cable from the power supply unit. The second method to control the ARGB lights is to use the ARGB controller on the motherboard. In this case, I will use this second cable. There's a 4-pin plug that fits into this, and at the other end it will go into the motherboard. To install the water pump, I'll remove the protective film on the cold plate. This is the thermal paste provided with the Thermaltake Tough Liquid radiator cooler. I will not be using it. Instead, I'll be using this Cooler Master thermal paste that I purchased. So this is the Cooler Master High Performance Thermal Paste. I'll be applying a complete smear over the entire CPU. I cut little cardboard strip as an applicator. I think that's adequately and evenly spread. With the protective film on the water pump cold plate removed, I will now align the 4 slots to the 4 screws like this. And now I'll use the 4 eye screws to fix the water pump into position. 2 screws are in. Now fix the 3rd screw. And now the 4th screw. I will now tighten all these 4 screws. They need to be tight in order to ensure that the cold plate on the water pump is flushed and tight against the CPU. I've checked all 4 screws are completely tightened. That's good. Just give it a wobble test. No, it's not wobbling. I'll remove this plastic protective film. So far, so good. I'll now connect this power supply cable from the water pump into the System Fan 6-pump header. As I mentioned, this is a 3-pin plug. That's a 4-pin header, but there's a tongue here to guide the 3-pin plug, so that slots only into the bottom 3 pins like this. So that's good. I've just stuck a piece of paper over the mirror surface on the water pump so that I don't get unnecessary reflection and glare. My next step is to connect power to the 3 radiator fans. Untie the cables, straighten all the cables to make sure there's no twist. The 3 plug ends, and this is the supplied 3-in-1 power cable adapter. Fit the 3 plugs into the 3 sockets. There's only one way to do it because it's guided by the groove and the tongue. So all 3 plugs are connected, and this is the 4-pin plug end that I will connect into the CPU fan 4-pin header. Let the slot be aligned with the tongue. That's it. To control the water pump's ARGB, I've opted to use the cable with the ARGB plug, which means that I connect to the socket on the bottom. This will allow me to use my motherboard's onboard ARGB control. The motherboard has 3 ARGB headers, one here, and one on the top right of the motherboard. I've temporarily removed the graphics PCI EX16 cable so that I can gain access to these two ARGB headers. So I'll connect the ARGB cable from the water pump to this header here on the left. I just have to be careful that there are 3 pins and a blocked out pin. Make sure I have it in the right orientation, otherwise I'll be breaking a pin on the header. So that is now connected. There is also a ARGB plug on this graphics card support holder. I'll plug that into this second ARGB header. That's good. I now have 4 sets of fans to connect power to the system fan headers on the motherboard. This first plug is for these 2 small fans at the rear. Check my orientation. The slots are guided by the tongue. I'll put it into this leftmost header. Done. This next power connector is for this 120mm extraction fan in the rear. Check the slot against the tongue. Align the slot on the base of connector to the tongue at the header and slot it in. That's done. This third power plug is for this small fan at the front. Check the slot orientation, align it to the tongue on the header and slot it in. That's done. And the last power connector is for the 3 fans in the front panel. Slot it in. Now all 4 sets of fans will be powered by the motherboard. So that's good. I've also used cable ties to tidy up the cables from the various fans. Here, there. Hi, I'm hiding behind the computer equipment. It has been a very successful installation project for me and I have enjoyed doing it very much. I like this MSI MPG Goodyear 300p computer case. I think it's brilliant. It's got a lot of fans and that is always good. And the fans are very silent. I've installed a MSI GeForce RTX 4060 Ti Ventus 3X graphics card and I still have lots of space. I've installed the Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Pro X Revision 1.0 motherboard. I like the quality of the motherboard and I've been able to connect all the cabling from the computer case to the motherboard connectors. I've installed quantity 2 of the Western Digital SN850X NVMe solid state drives. And with this motherboard, CPU and the solid state drives, installing Windows 11 Pro was so fast. To provide power to the computer, I've installed an Entech NE1000G M ATX 3.0 power supply unit. I will have more than ample clean power supply for my computer. To provide cooling for the Intel i9-14900K CPU, I have installed the Thermaltake Tough Liquid 360 ARGB Sync 3-fan radiator cooler. It's installed to the top of the case and the fans are very quiet. I do hope you found the selection of the components I used for this computer and the build-up of the system interesting and useful. Do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more and help the channel grow. Thank you so much.